Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Saurian here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Tier 8 Premium Polish Tank Destroyer, the Grom. Now, at the start of this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the loadout that I'll be using for all of my battles, as well as what I think about this tank destroyer. But if you're not here for that, and if you're only here for the gameplay, I've gone ahead and added chapters to this video, and you can skip ahead to the gameplay footage. Now, I have 4 games for y'all today. The first one is going to be on Ruinberg, the second one on Redshire, and then I've also got Berlin and Pilsen. And out of all 4 of those games, only the game on Ruinberg is going to have Tier 10 matchmaking. The rest of them are going to be all Tier 8 or below. Now, for all 4 of those games, I will be getting Ace Tankers as well as High Calibers. But I think for the Ace Tanker, in all honesty, the expectations on that are quite low at the moment. So getting the Ace Tanker wasn't a very high bar to reach for in these 4 replays. As far as the equipment loadout goes, I'm only going to be using 1 equipment loadout for all of these games, which is going to be the mobility, the Tier 3 mobility improvement system. Then there is HP, just standard HP, as well as a bond rammer. I won't be using the rammer objective. I'm just going to be using the bond rammer in these 4 games. Now, when you think about, if you're thinking about getting this tank, ask yourself, how much time are you really going to commit to getting the discount for this tank? Because the Wargaming has made it into a marathon, so you can actually get this tank at a discounted price, but how much time are you going to commit to this? For me personally, I got up to the 40% discount, and that was more than enough for me. I just walked away after that. But let's be honest, like, getting that 100% discount, you can do it, but you're looking to get about, I think, you'd have to get more than 200,000 base experience in less than 10 days now. So honestly, it's up to you how much time you want to commit to it. I would say it's just even on day 1 for me, guys, I had so many games where I was just trying to be top by damage or get the 4K minimum damage, and I think beyond a certain point I just got frustrated. I started playing badly, so as soon as I got that 40% discount, that was it. I was done. I was just going to pick up the tank and move on with my life. Now, if you're just a average player or a casual player, I would say avoid this tank like the plague, because honestly, probably for you, the SU-130PM or the Scorpion G are going to be the better tank destroyers, simply because they have their they can get their full alpha damage over long ranges versus the Grom cannot. And for that reason, I would say this is not a beginner friendly tank. Now, the thing about the Grom is that it's extremely powerful tank on paper, but when it comes to using the full potential of this tank, it is quite difficult. On paper, this tank has a higher DPM than many tier 10 tanks. As an example, the 114 SP2 and the Hori are relatively high DPM tank destroyers, and the Grom at tier 8 has more damage per minute than them, and it also has more alpha damage per shot than them, given that you're able to get close enough to your enemy tanks. Now, in close range, this tank also does 50 more alpha than the 60 TP, the E100, and the VK72, and it reloads about 3 seconds faster than all 3 of those tanks, which is kind of crazy considering that this tank is in tier 8 and it gets tier 8 matchmaking. Let's also not forget that this tank, with 800 alpha per shot, given that you're in close range, with an 11-second reload, can see tier 6 tanks in battle. This tank, with about 4,000 DPM, or I think it's more than 4,000, probably like 4,100 DPM, can see tier 6 tanks in battle. And it has 276 millimeters of penetration on the standard rounds. Now, if the BZ-172 wasn't bad enough for low tiers, this thing is going to make matters much worse for people who are trying to play tier 7s and tier 6s. Because if you're an aggressive player who knows how to play with this tank, in tier 6 games, you're just going to shred everyone. and that's just that. And like if you guys have to compare this tank to the BZ has less pen on its high explosive shell, and it has a 20-second reload. This thing has more pen and decent armor in tier 6s. I'm going to get to that in a second. And it does reload in 11 seconds if you have bond equipment on it. So it's actually crazy that this tank can see tier 6 tanks. Now, the challenge with this tank for most people is going to be the fact that you can only use its full DPM potential if you're in close quarters. And let's be honest about one thing. There's a reason why there's only one tier 10 battle that I'm featuring today. And that's because in tier 10, this tank is honestly quite useless. Simply because if you try to get close to the enemy tanks, you have to be very careful. You can't just go sit in front of a tier 10 tank because they're going to shred you. They have more HP than you do to trade with, so it is not an easy tank to play in tier 10. But if you're down in, like, let's say only a tier 8 battle, or maybe even a tier 7 or tier 6 battle, you can actually go to the front and play aggressive, because there's a good chance you're going to be bouncing a lot of the shells that are being shot at you. And not only that, the enemies that are shooting at you at the lower tiers, they're not doing that much damage either. So in lower tiers, you can always say that every top tier tank is going to be better in lower tiers, but the Grom is just insanely overpowered in lower tiers and probably very underwhelming in top tiers unless you're playing it correctly in top tiers. So that's why I said at the start of the video, if you're just a casual player, I would say save your money, save your time, just wait for an SU 130 PM or a Scorpion G, and you'll be much better off playing those tanks compared to the Grom, because at range this thing is useless. This thing is worse than most lower tier tanks at range. Alright, we got tier 10 matchmaking on Ruinberg, unfortunately, which is not ideal for us, but we'll try to make this work. Now with the Grom, again, the key is to get as close as possible to the enemy tanks. So I think my best bet here is going to be to play in City and see what I can do. And I don't want to play super aggressively because they have a T57 heavy, and let's be honest guys, with the T57 heavies, 340 heat rounds, I don't think it matters much. Even if I'm angling my tank, he is going to go through me every single time. I'm just going to start here, see if I can find anyone on this crossing, and then see how the game develops. Comes a BZ. Unfortunately, that ricocheted. I think that was a well-aimed shot, but it just didn't work out. I am pretty sure he's going to try to poke this again. Because, I mean, why not? He has decent enough heat, although I don't think he would be able to go through my upper hull. We do manage to get that Cupola snipe. And that's not bad. 674 damage for this range. It's not bad at all. And if we look at the minimap, their team is already done in City. Like, we have won the City at this point, so there's no point in me just even staying back there. I just got to push forward into that grill, and guys, that's a full HP grill, and this is gonna be a delicious treat. He also doesn't manage to pet us, which is kind of surprising. Even with AP rounds, he should have just gone through me. And guys, this is where the Grom is so powerful. We're gonna reload faster than a tier 10 tank destroyer with 50 more damage per shot than the grill, which is just kind of nutty in my opinion. Like, that was a 1800 HP grill, and we just took him out in what, my 13-second reload. That is really wild. So in certain scenarios, I have to say the Grom as well as the other Polish tank destroyers can be very, very nutty because of how good they are in close quarters. But again, you do have to be careful with this tank. Now we get lucky on the crossing there because the Foch doesn't manage to pen us, and I think I'm just gonna push forward to this little rock in front of me next to the statue, and I should be able to play hull down here. And I should also be able to elevate my tank just a little bit, and this is going to be a pretty good position for me. See, now I'm hull down. Now I don't have to worry about them petting me. At least I hope. We'll find out. What our tier 9 tank destroyer is doing is just plain stupid, though, because he just drove out into the open and showed them their sides. Okay, so we just bounced 330 heat from the T55A, and we still managed to do more than 500 alpha on that T57 heavy at this range, which is pretty decent. We bounced the Kilana. We bounced another heat round from the T55A. Right now, I'm just showing my upper hull, so I do have a very good hull down here. I think that's the third bounce from the T55. Oh, but he does finally manage to pen us, so I should probably back down. Just gonna take a blind shot there, and then I'm gonna back down a little bit. But yeah, like, that's 330 heat, but I think just because I was propped up, I don't know what part of my tank he was exactly aiming for, but just by propping up my hull, I was able to bounce most of his shells. Alright, at this point, I just want to push forward. T55A has the HP here. I don't think I'll get a shot on the Kilana, so I'm just gonna hold W. I want to get one more juicy round into T55A so I can get above the 4,000 threshold. Alright, I should be able to get this one round, and oh, I want to back up. No! That Conqueror could have covered me there, but unfortunately he did manage to get his shell in just before the Conqueror covered me. This was a really good round for us, guys. We managed to do 4.6k damage with a little bit of spotting assistance, and we were top by damage on our team with 1.3k, 1.3k in base experience. And this game went by so fast because their team just crumbled. Like, as you guys saw in City, they just evaporated, and the good thing is I was able to see that, and we pushed forward, because in situations like that, if your team is winning by such a huge margin, you might as well push, you might as well use your HP, and it worked out really well for us. And in that game, I think the highlight of that game was the kill in that grill, because that was a full HP grill when I attacked him, and just with a little bit of ramming damage and 2 shots, we took him out in 15 seconds or less with this tier 8 tank destroyer, and that is absolutely insane. Nice, we got some tier 7 matchmaking on Redshire. Now, I'm not too happy about the map just because this is a big map, and I'm pretty sure there are going to be a good number of situations where I'll need to shoot at range, which is not ideal for the Grom, but we'll make it work. Now, because we're top tier and we're only dealing with tier 8 and tier 7 heavy tanks, I actually want to go to the 09 line area and go to the heavy tank, the main heavy tank battleground on Redshire, and see what I can do at the start of the battle here. Now, the one thing I do like about the Grom is the mobility this tank has. I'm using a mobility improvement unit, but I think like 45 base is pretty nice, and then if you put a turbo on this thing, you can get into some good positions fast. Now again, that's only for, I want to say that's only for tier 8 matchmaking. I still do think for tier 10 matchmaking, you shouldn't really worry about the turbo, and you should probably just go for a DPM loadout where you add in vents, and where you replace the turbo or mobility improvement unit with the vents. Oh, Pershing. Nice. We're very lucky I actually managed to hit that shot on the Pershing. The Grom, or just the Polish tank destroyers in general, they don't do well with bloom at all. Like, I swear to you guys, sometimes I will shoot and I will genuinely wonder where my shells go with these tanks, but we got very lucky with the Pershing there. We also do manage to hit that 252U and pen him through the upper hull. And because he's on low HP at this point, what I actually want to do, guys, is I'm going to go push that 252U. If I have to trade HP for it, then I have to trade HP for it, but I don't mind trading here. And we have a Tiger 1 just behind us. He doesn't manage to pen me. Oh, not good. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a hit from the 45 TP there, but that's alright. That's what we use our HP for, so that we can trade in these situations. But see, even that 45 TP, I think he most probably just shot me in my lower hull because he was shooting AP. The 252U was shooting AP, but he wasn't able to pen. He just got my track. I should be able to pen the side turret here. Never mind. Bounce. Alright, I'm just gonna rush. They have a big tank destroyer back there, but I'm okay. I don't mind. Unfortunately, we hit the side of the T-29, so we don't actually manage to get a pen on him there. And I think that ISU just, yeah, the ISU just shot. So at this point, I just want to move forward. I'm just going to push that Su-152. Or he's going to push up there. Yeah, he's actually going to push up there. And I managed to hit him on the move, which is nice. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this tank's gun, but me personally, I find that it can be very troll. Sometimes it just does not work at all. Even in close quarters, the shots just don't go where you're aiming them. We managed to get 2 bounces from the Charioteer, which is very nice. And considering that, I think the Charioteer, I might be wrong about this, but I think the Charioteer has 276 276 APCR pen. So I'm surprised that we were able to bounce him twice. But I think on the second shot, I definitely could tell he was shooting at my upper hull instead of just shooting at my lower plate, which should have been in the open for him. Nice, full HP Scorpion. Do I push in here, or do I just give him a shot from the outside? I actually do have a shot, so I'm just going to shoot him and then kind of back off. Try not to take any damage from him if possible. Nice. Our VK takes care of the Scorpion, and hopefully we'll be able to get that lore fit 155. I think we'll be able to get to him first. Yeah, I should be able to get to him first. Pick up the kill in the RD for the win. Full HP RD2. I hope he doesn't kill me as I come around the corner. I really hope he doesn't. I don't think he will, but you never know with these RD players. Nope, we're good. We're good, guys. This round, we managed to deal 4.1k damage, and we picked up 190,000 credits in revenue. Now, as you guys saw this round, we pretty much dealt with that Object 252U in 2 shots, and then that poor Pershing didn't have a chance at all. He didn't do any damage this battle, and I'm surprised that my shell went in. I will say one thing about the Grom. If you're shooting on the move, or if you're shooting with this tank and you're not fully aimed in, don't be surprised if your shots miss, because they will. But just this time, I got very lucky with that Pershing, managed to get his track, and then my teammates just eliminated him so quickly. And this battle was also another quick 6-minute or shorter battle. I think it was less than 6 minutes. And yeah, as you guys can see, in tier 7, I think this is just tier 7. Yeah, it's tier 7 only. This tank is it's going to be a bully. Like, yes, tier 7 tanks can pen this tank, but this tank will be a bully in tier 7. Also, the RD did focus me quite a bit because I was the only Grom in the battle. Now, the next battle is going to be a little bit better, as I'm going to get pushed into a corner with my Grom, and we're going to see how this tank holds out under pressure. Nice, we got Berlin in a tier 8 battle, so we're gonna go straight to the city, and I actually like this map for us because there's a lot of close quarters combat opportunities on this map, so I'm gonna go straight to the city, probably going to the same place where this BZ is most likely headed, and we're gonna see what we can do from there. Now, I do like the standard rounds in this tank. They have more than enough penetration for most tanks at tier 8, 9, and even 10, honestly. So if you can play this tank well, you're going to be able to make a decent amount of credits with the Grom. Nope, he didn't get through. Okay, and you guys see what I mean? Like, I aimed that shot, but I have no idea where it went. It, like, vanished into the void. At least the other Grom managed to hit me, though. And this time he manages to pen me as well, so that's fantastic. And I've already lost most of my HP over there. I want to get this guy back. I need to return the favor here. If I die, then I die, but I gotta return the favor. Yep, there we go. Now I'm good. Now I don't want to poke that Grom anymore. I do not want to give him any additional chances to mess me up, let's say. And now that we're on 600 HP, I have to play a little carefully. Our XMF manages to destroy their Grom, which is nice. Yeah, I don't have enough gun depression for this position, and I don't want that Panther to shoot me either. See, in a situation like this, if I just had my XMF, I actually would have been able to deal some damage here, but I literally cannot make the Grom's gun work in this position. And that T-26E4, I'm pretty sure he's already done. He's probably gonna die. Yep, he's done. This BZ isn't gonna poke out that window, so I'm just gonna fall back at this point because that IS-3 is coming, and I'm not so sure how well the low is gonna hold out against them. So time for me to fall back, and the BZ could technically shoot me from there as well, so I'm a little worried about that. So I'm gonna pay attention to the BZ. Might as well kill the Panther while we have the chance. Yeah, I think this side is over. I don't think there's much else we can do here. The XMF is already retreating. Should I fall back? I feel like I should get out of here. No, it's too late. It's too late. I should have bailed out earlier when I had the chance, but if I try to bail now, the BZ would be able to shoot me in the back, I'm sure of it. But let's see if I can get him out here. Nice. That's one 800 alpha damage tank that I don't have to worry about. And can I flank that IS-3? I can't because the SMV is paying attention, and now the Kilana pushes me too. So I think it's game over here unless I manage to bounce that Kilana somehow. And I'm going to completely face hug him. I do not want to show him my lower plate, or like my lower hull, I guess. And I just want to make it hard for him to shoot me. Nice, we managed to bounce the Kilana. And we managed to shoot him again in the lower hull. Oh, this is going to be tricky. I know that that IS-3 and the TS-54 are going to show up right behind me. Lucky bounce over there. Okay, I got to turn around. I got to turn around. Yep, here they are. Oh, I need one more shot. One more shot. One more shot. Nice. Unfortunately, we don't manage to survive this. But one more shot in close quarters with the Grom means 800 plus alpha damage. So we do manage to get at least more than 4K this round. This round ended on a draw, but we still managed to pick up 4K damage and 3 kills by the time we were taken out of the battle. And somehow We also managed to pick up an ace tanker this round with only 763 base experience. Now, if you look at how both teams performed this round, the performance from both teams was pretty bad, especially from their BZ and their Grom, considering that those are high caliber tanks that should be doing high damage per shot. They really didn't do much this round. The star on their team was their TS-54, who managed to pick up 3.4k damage. And I think what most of you guys should have seen by now is that the Grom is a very, very difficult tank to make it work, essentially. Especially considering that this tank only gets a 5-degree gun arc, which is worse than pretty much all the other tanks in the same tech tree, which get at least a 7-degree gun arc, if I am correct. Now, the benefit is, with this Grom, we were pushed into a corner, and we were still able to get off that last shot on the IS-3, which took us above that 4K threshold. But I think at the end there, if I had played things differently, I mean, like, as soon as I saw that BZ crossing, if I had tried to just run away, with my speed, I might have actually been able to do that, and I might have been able to get into a better defensive position to fight the enemy team. But, you know, by the time I thought of that, the BZ was already so close to me that, you know, if I would have essentially turned around and showed my back to the BZ, he would have just penetrated me, and that would have been that. So I pretty much had to just stay there and fight with the BZ, and we did end up getting at least 4K this round. Alright, we have a tier 8 battle on Pilsen, and I definitely do not want to go to the 0-9 line. I mean, I could snipe with high explosives and see if I could slap a EBR or maybe even a setter, but I think I'd be much better off just playing on the heavy line, up close and personal. They have a KV4 and a KV5, so I'm pretty sure that I'll get a decent chunk of damage from farming those two tanks. Especially with my 276 APCR pen, I should have a good shot at farming out all that HP the KVs are going to be bringing to the table. Do I want to play on the outside? No, you know what? I actually want to start inside the factory just to play it safe. I'm going to go to that little pile of rubble on the left side of this factory, and we'll see if we can shoot anyone that comes to that pile of rubble directly in front of us, like a T-29. This is going to be a little hard. I have to see, the thing with the Grom that can be a little frustrating, and it's the same issue honestly for all the other Polish tank destroyers, is you have to work your way around the positions, and even then, sometimes the APCRs just don't work out. I think I shot his cupola, but I might have hit the very top of his gun mantlet here. It's alright, we'll try again. Just as soon as I find that position. Nice! 622 damage on that T-29. Very juicy. Let's see if I can do that again. T-29's probably upset at me. Stop moving, bro. I tried to wait until he reversed so that his cupola would be right at the center of my reticle, but that did not work out for me. Okay, I have to watch out. Okay, I really have to watch out for their KV5. We just lost our Peregrine too. Okay, yeah, I should probably go to the back of the factory and start dealing with that KV5 right now. I'm gonna let him shoot. I think he shoots my VK. Yep, he does. And now I want to go introduce myself to him. Easy pen on his turret. 276 standard APCR is more than enough, and now I should be able to pick up the kill here. No. Never mind. Our T26E4 picks up that kill. But the KV4 is coming in to give us his HP. So let's turn around and deal with that. And okay, the Kilana just shot. He wasn't able to pen our VK, so Yeah, I'm just gonna go at this point. We're gonna have a Juggernaut moment, break through this door and get rid of that KV4. Nice, 715 alpha, and the Kilana is also done. So at this point, we want to move forward. You know what? I think I'm not gonna go for that T832. I'm gonna go for the IS. Oh, sorry about that, BZ. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the IS simply because after I deal with the IS, I can just move on to the SU-130 PM, and then I can move on to the 09 line and deal with that issue over there. Ooh, we have a full HP IS too. This is gonna be juicy. Come up around the corner, auto aim, fire, and 742 alpha damage. I love how that EBR just went right over that rubble pile, by the way. And I'm already reloaded. Let's go again. Okay, that was a bad shot by me. I can't even blame the tank. That was a stupid shot by me. I'm just gonna face hug this IS now, and okay, apparently he's... Okay, he wanted to get the kill in the EBR, that's fine. We're gonna get him out of the battle. And now let's move on to the SU-130 PM. Guys, I'm telling you, this tank, it is so retardedly broken in low tier matchmaking. Like, the IS just, he does not stand a chance against me, and lower tier tanks, it's going to be the same story. Okay, let's get the kill on this SU. Never mind, he could just circle me. Okay, somebody help. Somebody help, please. Slow traverse speed issues on this tank. Alright, I got spotted on my way down here, which means either their T20 or their Stewart Meal are going to be right in front of me. Let's see how I fight. Oh, T20, but he doesn't have full HP, unfortunately. I think I should have just went for the ram and saved my shell there. But that's fine. I can take a shot from the Stewart Meal, and then I'll just get him out. You know what's crazy? That Stewart Meal had full HP, and honestly, even if I didn't ram him, I would still just get him out of the game in one shot. And to me, that's just mind-boggling that this tank exists. Now, obviously, we have the BZ-172 as well, but the BZ-172 doesn't have 276 pen on its rounds, and it also does not have an 11-second reload. So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, we managed to do 4.6k damage this round, and we did get a decent amount of base XP for the Ace Tanker. But overall, guys, my thoughts on this tank is that it's basically really, really weak in tier 9 and tier 10 to a point where, like, you can't really play the aggressive playstyle in tier 9 or tier 10, or at least you have to be extremely cautious, and it's very difficult to do so because, let's be honest, guys, 330 heat, 340 heat, 350 heat, and even 395 tank destroyer, tier 10 tank destroyer heat rounds, they're just going to automatically penetrate your armor. They're going to penetrate your armor, no questions asked. So in tier 10, it's very hard to play this tank, but at the same time, this tank is insanely overpowered if you get tier 6 matchmaking, tier 6 or even tier 7 matchmaking, because you're eliminating those tanks in one shot if you're fighting in like close quarters. And at the same time, yes, this tank doesn't have armor in tier 10, but it does have armor in tier 6. In tier 6, tier 7, tier 8, the armor can work. Especially if you find those hold down positions, the armor is more than decent enough to work. So it's crazy how much of a difference how much of a difference there is in the gaming experience of this tank when it comes to fighting tier 10s versus fighting tier 6s. Now, obviously, I think it's well accepted that, you know, if you're playing the higher tier tank, it's yes, you're always going to have a better time fighting against lower tiers, but that's not my point here. My point is this tank can literally one-shot lower tier tanks and then reload within 11 seconds with tier 10 DPM and literally do it again. So, in my opinion, this tank is extremely busted in tier 6 and then just unbelievably underwhelming in tier 10. And like I said at the start of the video, if you're new to World of Tanks, or let's just say like you're an average player, I would say avoid this tank. It's not worth it for you. You're not going to enjoy it. I can tell you I didn't enjoy playing this tank in tier 10s, and I'm probably going to get rid of this tank because I honestly prefer playing the tanks like the Shit Pack, Scorpion, SU 130 PM. All those tanks, in my opinion, have the much more consistent gaming experience compared to this tank. Now, if you're someone who does like playing aggressive, then great, go for this tank because it's going to make money if you know how to play it. But then again, I would just say if you have the tier 10 tech tree version of this tank, just play that tank, because with the tier 10 tech tree version, even with the tier 9, your armor is decent enough to where it supports your playstyle. But just with the lower plate of the Grom, it just really ruins your playstyle if you don't have a means of covering it. It is extremely hard to play. But that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you got this tank, what your thoughts are about it, and I will see you guys in the next video.